So, welcome back to part 2 of this episode. I'm joined today by Sarah Black-Smith and Adam Anders-Holmes. And in this part of the podcast, we're going to be talking about sustainability, which I know is close to Sarah's heart and also us within Siemens. So, Sarah, basically, I'd like to ask you around the sustainability subject. So with all this great technology and sustainability, what are the other key topics for our customers?
Sustainability is like a huge topic, I think, isn't it? A number of years ago, I always thought of, when we talked about having a sustainable business, you talked about it from more like, having a business over the long term, didn't you? It wasn't necessarily all of the things that we encompass today. So I think, from a customer point of view, there's loads of challenges that we face as manufacturers ourselves, but also obviously our customers as manufacturers. There's the challenge of, just the climate change challenge that we've got, that we all are contributing to through the use of, all of the raw material scarcity and the resource scarcity that we have. If you think our customers are demanding it, and in turn their customers are demanding that actually they want more transparency of the environmental impact of us as a company, the products that we're manufacturing, and they also need to start to provide that transparency as well. So that's definitely a challenge that we've got. There's more capital being flown, that's flowing into ESG investment business. And so having that availability of that, there's more companies that are coming up where they're answering sustainable challenges, and people are looking to invest in those businesses, so green tech or clean tech. And there's more requirement from, regulations that are coming out in terms of one, what are the commitments that businesses are making to the marketplace if you're, in the public domain, but also what are the government's, EU legislation that impacts all of us, UK legislation. And if you're actually delivering into other markets as well, then you're going to have to fulfill all the requirements of those as well. So I think, there's quite a few challenges that people have got around, rather than it just being we want to be here for the long term. But we want to be here for the long term as well, because there's all these different challenges now, new things that have come into play. So,
right, okay. So how can Siemens and our partners support customers on their sustainability journey? Because it seems a journey to me. It seems like, where to start and where to go and how to support it.
Yeah, because you're not going to fix it. I mean, people have got a lot more interested in terms of energy usage over the last number of years because of the cost increases and stuff. But I think from a Siemens point of view, more than 90% of our business, the business that we do, has a positive sustainability outcome. Through implementation of our technology around, energy efficiency. We talk about the control of motors.
Exactly.
And we'd spoken about it this morning, haven't we?
Absolutely. About, a little statistic for you, about 6% of the UK energy usage actually goes in electric motors in industry. So if we can look at deploying drive technology and some of the energy efficiency features within the drives, we can get more sustainable outcomes. So it's just about adopting the technology and using the technology in that sort of a vein where we haven't deployed eco mode, for example, in our drives. Why not? Why have we not looked at deploying that? What can that save us? And even it's little savings that we get in, or we employ new technology by adding drives to our systems, we can actually get more sustainable, more efficient outcomes.
And I think part of it is actually sharing these stories in terms of what those sort of stats. What are the benefits that customers can gain through the deployment of our that will enable them to hit the sustainability KPIs that they have, and looking at it through that lens. And thinking of technology as a way of, using less resources, because the resource, there's a scarcity of the resources that we've got, but that includes things that's going to cost you money, like your energy, your raw material, your gas and your electric, and also less people, ultimately less resources in terms of if you're automating things, then that enables you to be more productive. And with the knowledge gaps that we've got in terms of that pipeline of skilled people, that it obviously helps with that as well. I think also from a Siemens point of view, we launched last April the Ecotech. So this is giving really clear transparency about the environmental and carbon impact that all of our portfolio has. So, when you're buying Siemens products, customers then, actually that's another selling point if you're in our partners, actually we provide that transparency about the impact of our products. So we are, we talk about scope 1 to 3, and scope 3 is what what other if what your scope 1 and 2 is what you're impacting as a business, and scope 3 is like, okay, right, if you're getting products in, your supply chain is your scope 3 effectively, and so we as a manufacturer are part of our customers' scope 3 challenge, and so the more visibility we can give to say, well, okay, well, if you're using our products, this is what it looks like, this is the impact, this is the amount of carbon that's gone into making these products, that helps them with understanding, okay, what's the total impact that we're having as a company. So I think, the ecotech point from our point of view is good. And also obviously the knowledge that we bring, we've got experts such as Adam, and lots of other people in Mark's making a face there. You can't see it. I'll call him on it. But we've got a lot of expertise in our partners in, here in Manchester and in Siemens in the UK and Ireland, that customers, can pull on to actually make the right choices and actually deploy technology in an efficient way and make sure that we're hitting all of those challenges and collectively working together to solve it. Like you said, it's a journey. You're not going to do it overnight. No. But we all need to be on that journey to net zero from a decarb point of view. But then there's a whole other piece around resource efficiency and around the societal impact as well. So, how we engage with our communities that we work in, how do we get a more diverse workforce? All those sorts of things, also come into play as well, talking about sustainability.
Blimey, that's
I know there's loads.
That's great.
Should we do a whole podcast?
Yeah, we could do a whole one on sustainability.
I feel like there's going to be a spin-off.
Part 2.
So, a question I've got for you is, and this has been leveled to me, is where can our customers and us, where can we find what our customers' sustainability goals are? Where's the best place to go to find out what their challenges are and what their goals are?
I mean, most companies now produce a sustainability report. So if you just Google it, for Siemens Sustainability Report, our latest one came out on like the 4th of December last year. And so I suppose that's bigger companies. Bigger companies will have a sustainability report, but actually a lot of smaller companies will have it on their website. So, going on the websites and understanding where are they focused, what are their targets, like, what's their ambition on net zero? Is it, typically it's around sort of the 2030 mark. So I would start and say, is there a report there, which if there is, then that will give a clear picture. And if not, they should have an internet, that'll be able to give them some ideas, because that's definitely one area where we feel like actually that's an opportunity to challenge customers on and have that conversation around, okay, what are your sustainability goals and how can we support you in those challenges?
That's fair.
And what's the opportunity for, like say, technology to influence?
I think you may have answered this in your, with the conversation we just had, but what is Siemens doing to become more sustainable? Is there sort of major milestones we're achieving or going for, or is there a whole raft of things? So if you go on and Googled the report that I mentioned, we've got a framework that's where we have a number of targets. So we've got targets around becoming net zero by 2030. We've got an interim measure on that. We've got targets, and that's scope 1 and 2 in our own operations. We've got a target for our supply chain of being 90% and as close to net zero by 2050. We've also got targets around things like equity. So, wanting to have 30% female in top leadership. What else? So we've got a whole raft of measures or targets that Siemens globally has set. You can have a look on there and see like what are the focus areas. I think one of the biggest challenges we've got, and all of our customers will have it, is around scope 3. It's the supply chain and really understanding what that carbon impact is. And so we are on that journey. We're not as far forward as we would like to be, and that's one of the challenges. And so that for me is the ecotech piece. That's a real big selling point if our partners are working with customers that really want to understand their scope 3 emissions. Well, we're part of that and we can actually provide that clarity. And that is a selling point, I think, going forward, that manufacturers are going to need to have that information at hand. So I think we've got an advantage there. But we've got a whole raft of targets. We're a German company, Mark. Oh, yes, very true, yes.
We're going to have a framework.
Process and targets.
We're all there,
That's fine. I mean, this whole subject, like Adam was joking, said, it grows arms and legs and goes everywhere.
Yeah, that's it.
And like you say, we're on this journey, and it seems quite exciting, but challenging, but exciting.
Yeah, that's it. But we can go on that journey together,
Yeah.
and we're more than happy to share the challenges that we faced in factories in the UK, but abroad. But obviously, from a UK point of view, we've got a number of businesses factories that are actually been through this challenge or are on that journey. Yeah.
Okay, so talking of journeys, that's brought us to the end of part 2. I thank you very much, Sarah and Adam, and we'll be back very shortly for part 3 of this podcast. Thank you.